Hi everyone, it's me. We are in the midst of our collage challenge. So I wanted to give you a couple of tricks and techniques. I'm making these abstract mixed media books and they're sort of falling into my collage challenge. Let me just move these out of the way. All right, so I have already used some of the collage material. So you can see here, I have this little book, and I have sent you guys a little bit of this gold collage material, this tissue paper, which is very delicate. And so I have actually put it on this little book, you can see on the outside here. And then this acrylic skin that we all have, I cut little pieces of it off and I placed it over the foil, and then I have incorporated a little bit of this piece of envelope that I sent you guys, that yellow envelope, and then I showed you a video of how to sort of activate or mark it up. And so this is a book that I am making. If you're taking one of my classes right now, we're talking about these books because they're very exciting to me. I'm excited to share how to make them and how I have made them. And so here's already one way that I have used the collage material in this little fun, cool book. This is all of these little corners here are the envelope that I sent with some drawing material and wax crayons. I showed that video to you guys last week. And then the foil and the acrylic skin. And I can even say that I used my wool. I'm not using a yellow one, but I'm using this pink one because I've actually run out of the yellow ones. I sent them all to you guys. And so just an idea, I want to talk about this wool piece of fabric that I've sent all of you and what else you could do with it. So I have now used it as a tie. The other thing that it could be used for is I have used some of these wool pieces to hold together this book that I have made. So just to think about, this is another sort of collage book. Just want to show you sort of what you could be doing with this little piece of wool. In this example, it's a little tie. In this example, it's a little book. I'm sorry, it's in the little book. And then the other way is it doesn't even have to be used in the book. So this is another little sort of book that's in progress here. I'm going to open up to one of these pages. This could actually be used as a drawing tool. I'm going to take my pencil, just a pencil here, and I'm going to hold on to this piece of wool and just wrap my pencil around it, and then maybe I might use it to create some circular sort of shapes. Maybe I'll move it around here. If you remember, one of the points of perspective things that we learned about using a piece of string and sort of drawing on it and moving it around, holding it at one point, you could even create lines of perspective. The other thing is that you could put it down, trace around it. That might be interesting. Trace around those pieces. The other thing is you might even just be influenced by the color itself, maybe bringing some of that color into your piece. Either it be a colored pencil or marker or paint. You could be inspired by the color of that piece of wool and bring it into your collage piece, whatever it is that you're making, onto your piece of paper. So maybe that's how you could use this piece of string that I've sent along. Again, I'm just wrapping my pencil around the piece of wool And I'm just using it as a tool to be able to sort of make circular shapes on this piece of paper. This collage material, any way you want to play with it. Another thing you can do is play with the edge of your pieces of collage. So here I'm going to cut an edge with scissors. It's going to give me this nice straight, sharp edge, versus if I take my fingers and I rip pieces from this collage material. That will give me a nice sharp edge versus a curvy edge. So maybe I like that. Maybe I want to bring that into the piece. Get some, I just have a little bit of Mod Podge glue here, and I'm going to dip my brush right into the top, get right into the back of this piece of tissue paper. And as some of you probably have discovered, the tissue paper is really quite delicate, so you can either spray it with a spray glue or just be very delicate like I am here. All right, so now just going to kind of put this onto my paper here. And you can see that the tissue paper is so delicate and light that it actually is a little transparent. So a little bit of that pencil and some of those marks have come through. So that may be something that you think about when you're using this piece of tissue paper. Maybe that can add a nice element to your piece. The other thing is that maybe you don't, there's this element of collage that I like to play with, and it's decollage. So you put the paper down and then maybe you sort of rip and lift some of it up. So that can create an interesting sort of edge to your piece. So we've got this little piece going down. And then let's go back to this wool again. So another thing that you could do in your, so I'm slowly building up this book of sort of mixed media material and marks. So I'm just playing, I'm just putting some of these marks. I've included some of these materials of the challenge. I might even bring in this, I might even start thinking about this acrylic skin that I sent along. So this can be cut, and you can see this paper that I sent it on, you can pull it off of there so that you can use its transparent quality. Let's see, so I might just even, I kind of even, before I put this down, I want to sort of make this look a little bit more interesting on the paper because it is transparent. So I'm going to put a little bit more of this or put a little bit of these alcohol inks that I like. These alcohol pearl inks, they're kind of interesting. And I might even, let's see, might even take that wax crayon that I used to show you to play with the envelope cover. I think I'm going to add some of those marks onto here. Maybe just randomly play with some marks. And then I am going to add a little bit of color . We've been playing with this yellow color here. So I got a little yellowy orange Gonzai watercolor. Just going to spray that and get my brush into it. Ooh. Let's see, get my brush into it. This kind of gets it going, move all the paint around. And then I'm going to run it over those areas. You can see that wax crayon does something nice. I might even bring in my water bottle and spray that around just to get that going. Just to activate that. And like I said in the Patreon post, you don't have to make it yellow. You could make it about something else and the accent could be yellow. But on this page, I'm just going to town with a little bit of this yellow stuff here. So that's kind of fun. And then I have that piece of acrylic skin. I'd like to glue that into this piece. So I'm just dipping into my Mod Podge, and I'm just going right on the side that I want to be glued down with this glue. You have to get used to getting glue on your hands, being a collage artist. And I think I like this right in there, sort of right tucked into there. And I'm just putting that right down onto my piece. And so you can see it adds a bit of transparency, a little bit of a shimmer when it hits the light, that acrylic piece. And it has a little bit of that alcohol ink in there, that pearlescent yellow alcohol ink. So that adds a little bit of interest. And so this yarn piece, another little fun thing that you could do, you could play with, is actually puncturing the page and tying it through. That could add an interesting detail. I've been playing with this rug hook, which is sort of interesting, I think. And it's used for rug hooking, but you can use it also with sort of paper crafts. I've poked it right through the page, and it has this little hook at the end. I'm going to grab the end of it and just pull it right through the page, right to the other side. And so now I have this little knoblet here. Maybe I might go in again and grab another little piece of it and pull that through the page. And so there's a couple of things I can do on this side. Now that I have these two loops, I could just leave this like this if I wanted. But I might actually, I think it might be interesting to add, let's see, let me see. I have this other little bit of wool here, so I'm just going to cut a little piece of this off just for the heck of it. Let's see. And I think what I'll do is weave these in through these little loops here, because that might be interesting. And then I can pull these taut on this side because this is now holding that in place. So that's sort of interesting. And then these are on this side, and you can decide, or I can decide if I want to cut these back. Maybe I'll cut these back a little bit, give this a little furry fluff, like a little texture and something to play with, to touch in my work often. So that's a little fun hairy thing there. And I'll just pull these real tight on this side. And then I have this piece of string or loop or anything here. I could put a bead on here. I think I want to just take this in a little bit. I'm going to bring these together a little bit. Just tying that on there, making it like a knot. Just sort of interested in it being a knot here. Maybe you have more grandiose plans for your piece of wool, but for me, I just want it to be a nice knot. It's sort of like a functioning thing. I'm going to cut this edge off here. All right, so I have now tied a knot into this page, and on this side it's holding this sort of poofy thing that I can touch, and on this side it is a knot tied in. And I could even go further with this with my tools, or I could play with it. I could draw around this knot now, maybe play with the extension of how this moves around. Maybe this over here. So it looks like I've interacted with it. And these wool pieces that I have sent you, all of you, can be painted on. So if you want to add a little bit of color on these, if you want to change the yellow quality, some of you have like a yellowy orange, or more, some of you have a little bit more of a yellowy green one. Some of you might even have a yellowy sort of patterned texture on here, but you can easily paint this. Easily paint. So here's another one of those Gonze watercolor tins. I'm just going to add a little bit of water in there. I'm going to use my paintbrush to get that paint all zoopy goopy. And then I'm just going to go right, hold this piece and sort of paint the edge of this. You can see I can add color to this piece of wool. It doesn't have to stay that yellow color. You can change it, and it will. You could use marker or paint or ink to add it on there. Kind of like that little edge being something different, a little different color. But this is just one way. I'm just trying to give you guys some ideas on maybe what you could use your piece of wool for. Now this is making dots everywhere, so I might as well just continue. Don't fight it, just go with it. I'm going to add a little bit more of those dots, kind of integrate that color into those pieces. All right, so that's fun. That's a little sort of play or step in activating these different collage pieces.